Due to the popularity of the first two videos and the overwhelming number of comments received with recommendations of new Greek metal bands for me to check out, I have decided to do a part 3. So this will be just like the other videos. I will choose 10 bands based on your recommendations and listen to one album from the band. Then I'll give you my impressions and thoughts on said band and album. So let me get right into it. First one I have is Nightfall. They've been active since 1991. They're listed as melodic black / death / doom metal and gothic metal. So basically they fall under a lot of different subgenres. I listened to their most recent album called At Night We Pray. First thing I heard when I put on the album was this haunting piano. Now granted, it's just an intro track, but it set the scene for me. And from there, I thought I was going to be pretty good. I noticed some similarities with the band Riding Christ, especially with the vocals, but the music had a lot of variety. At times it sounded like blackened thrash, other times they sounded more like doom, and they added these tremolo picked guitarists, and that gave the music a black metal feel. Some of the music was more atmospheric and dissonant, other parts of the song were more in your face. There was also times when they sounded a little like Swedish melodic death metal, so I like this band a lot. They have a lot to offer, and I recommend you check them out. The next band I have is called Necromantia. This is a black metal band that started in 1989 and split up in 2021. I listened to their last album called To the Depths We Descend. This is one of those bands that plays some dark and evil sounding music with lots of satanic themes. I would say they sound like a typical black metal band. There's a lot of depth to the music. The album features a wide variety of styles, a few short songs, as well as a 13-plus minute epic to close the album. The music sounds like traditional black metal at times with the blast beats and screams, and the same can be said with the vocals, but this band also has a symphonic element, so that adds another layer of the sound. The production is also much cleaner than a typical black metal band. They play some guitar riffs that sound more like thrash and death metal at times. The music can also be slow and atmospheric at times. There was even one instrumental that was mostly just a bass guitar solo. Other times they add in haunting pianos and orchestral passages, and that gives the music a very dark feel. Overall, this was pretty good. Too bad they're not together anymore. It's a type of black metal that I can get into. The next one I have is Planet of Zeus. This is one of the bands that came up the most in the comments section. The band is listed as stoner metal, and they've been active since the year 2000. I listened to their most recent album from 2024 called Afterlife. The band is supposedly influenced by bands such as Queens of the Stone Age and Clutch, but to me they sounded more like an alternative rock band, something like the Foo Fighters. They also had that specific type of distortion on the guitars that reminded me of the band The Warning. But basically, the songs are catchy alternative rock songs. Songs have lots of energy. They're filled with upbeat drum beats and thick bass guitar sounds. There are times they get a little heavy, but I felt it was more of an alternative rock type of heavy as opposed to heavy metal. There are a few songs that earned them the stoner metal title though, such as the closing track, which was a typical stoner metal type of song. I think there's a reason the band is popular, and that's because they have very good songwriting abilities, and is a type of album that can be enjoyed by fans of rock, alternative, or metal. Thought it was very good. If I had known about this album, it might have made my end of the year of the best rock albums list. So it was really good. Next is Villagers of Ioannina City. This is another band that I would consider more of a rock band, but they are metal adjacent. They're very unique, and I don't think there are many bands that sound like them. Basically, they are a stoner and psychedelic rock band with elements of Greek folk rock, specifically the music of the region of Epirus. The band plays traditional rock instruments such as the guitar, bass, and drums. They also play other instruments that are not common in rock and metal, such as clarinet and bagpipes. Other than AC/DC and Korn, this is the third band I know that can pull off bagpipes. The album has songs that are mostly in the 8 to 9 minute range with the occasional shorter track. I listened to the most recent album, The Age of Aquarius from 2019. Songs are filled with fuzzy guitar riffs and weird psychedelic sounds. It's the type of music to listen to with headphones when you just want to relax and transport yourself to another dimension. I did research on the band, and I read a few reviewers comparing some songs to the band Tool. Others mentioned post-punk bands, even Depeche Mode. Basically, every song is different, but the album's very well done, and I think that was the reason I had a lot of people recommend them to me. The next band I have is called Degenerate Mind. I listened to their latest album called Vortex. I didn't find a lot of information on this band, so I listened to the album on their Bandcamp page. It appears they have 4 different albums. It also says they are a heavy rock band from Athens, Greece. Now, in my opinion, I would say they are a rock band bordering on heavy metal. They're actually pretty unique. It's hard to put them into one specific box. The music has lots of elements of alternative rock. I hear a lot of grunge in their sound, but I hear heavier stuff like sludge metal. The music is very thick and dense, and the bass guitar is very prominent in most of the songs. I also hear Middle Eastern sounds in their music. I also hear psychedelic rock influences, especially in some of the guitar solos. I also like the guitar tone because it's that big fuzzy guitar tone with a lot of distortion. It sounds really good. There are also some lighter songs that sound more like folk rock. I thought it was very good. The next band I have is Sacred Outcry. They are a heavy metal and power metal band. They formed in 1998, and they took an 11-year break from 2004 to 2015. I listened to their most recent album, Towers of Gold. It's a typical power metal album, filled with songs with fantasy-based lyrics. I would say they are similar to Blind Guardian, mostly because the vocalist sounds a little like Hansi Kirsch. But at the same time, I would say they also have their own unique sound. Songs have lots of melodic guitar riffs, fast-paced drum beats, also some pretty good musicianship here. I found some of the instrumentation to be similar to modern Iron Maiden. Most songs were in the 4 to 5 minute range, and there was one epic that was close to 15 minutes. I felt some songs were closer to traditional power metal, while others had more of a classic heavy metal feel, with some heavier guitar riffs and galloping rhythms. I read a few reviews on the Metal Archives website, and this band has a lot of fans. Many fans gave this album a perfect score, so this is another good one to check out. The next band is Major Denial. This is a progressive metal band that's been active since 2013. I listened to their only full-length album called Duchess of Suffering. The album had 10 tracks. It was about 58 minutes long. Songs were filled with melodic guitar riffs, so some of the riffs were Middle Eastern, and they had like this complexity of progressive rock bands. And songs also had big and soaring vocals. Most of the songs are either mid-paced or with slower rhythms. The music was just guitars, vocals, bass, and drums. So it's a type of progressive metal that doesn't rely on a lot of different instruments. It had more of a stripped down sound. Some of the songs had peaks and valleys with some softer sections. There were times they sounded like Opeth from their later day prog albums. I also thought the second half of the album was better than the first, especially the last 3 songs, which I liked a lot. The last song was very good. It had a guest female vocalist named Lisette Marjorie Vandenberg, and she's from the Netherlands. Otherwise, it's a good band. I wasn't completely blown away, but I wouldn't mind listening to it again sometime. The next band I have is called Leatherhead. They are a heavy and speed metal band, and they have been active since 2022. They are a fairly new band. I listened to their self-titled debut album, and this one came out on October 25th, 2024, so not too long ago. I probably wished I had known about this band because this one was pretty good, and it might have even made my end of the year list for metal albums. But basically, the album has 10 songs. It's 37 minutes long. There are 2 short instrumentals, and the music is basically thrash or speed metal. They remind me a lot of the band Overkill or even Agent Steel, and that's mostly because of the vocals, which are in the higher range. But otherwise, the songs are mostly fast-paced. They're very concise, lots of awesome guitar riffs, lots of galloping rhythms, everything you would want in a thrash or speed metal album. I also like the fact that the song lyrics are somewhat related to classic horror movies. For example, one song is called Vampire's Kiss, another song is called Into the Werewolf's Lair. There's a self-titled song called Leatherhead, which appears to be the character that you can see on the album cover. So it's a very fun album. It kind of reminds me of those old Anthrax albums where they wrote lyrics about different movies and stuff. I think a lot of the lyrics are based on movies. It's a fun album. It's a debut. I will be keeping an eye on this band because this one was really good. Next is Subfire. They are a symphonic and heavy power metal band that's been active since 2004. I listened to their album Blood Omen, which was released on May 17, 2024. Another album that I missed last year. On the surface, the band sounds like one of those melodic heavy metal bands that you would find on the Frontiers label, although they are on a different label. At times, they sound like the heavy metal of Judas Priest. Other times, they sound like power metal, similar to something like Blind Guardian or a band like that. In general, most of the songs are very melodic. They have memorable choruses. The album has 9 songs. It's 41 minutes long. I'm not sure if it's a concept album, but they have a recurring theme throughout the album, which is basically about samurai warriors and the act of going into battle. You can also see this on the album cover. There was one song with Ralph Sheepers on vocals. I thought it was a good album. The songs are both heavy and melodic. There are also some pretty cool melodic lead guitar playing. Overall, I like this one a lot. I have one more band, and that is Warrior Path. This is a heavy metal and power metal band from Athens, and they've been active since 2019. They released 2 albums. I listened to their most recent one called Mad King from 2021. The band has Bob Katsionis, and in my research and reading comments from previous videos, I discovered that this guy is in a lot of different Greek bands. I recently did a video reviewing the Firewind album, Forged by Fire, which is actually out already. I posted it before this. And he was on that album. He's been involved with so many different Greek metal bands, either as a producer or a member. Basically, it's pretty much traditional heavy metal, but the epic nature of it and the fantasy-related lyrics also kind of make it sound like power metal. But the one thing that stands out are the guitar riffs. They use a guitar tone, reminds me of some of the later albums by the band Striper. It's a pretty heavy, pretty melodic, and the album offers a lot of variety. There are neoclassical elements, power ballads, some faster and heavier songs. There's some moments that remind me of modern Iron Maiden. Others remind me of classic heavy metal from the 80s. It was another enjoyable album. So that is all. As always, drop some more bands in the comments. I'm open to doing another edition of this series. You could check out the 2 previous videos, which I will link on the screen right here. And thanks for watching. Please give the video a like. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe. If you have not already, I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.